Welcome everyone back to the CEO series. I am the Manifest Coach, James Valentine, and I am here with the lovely, the beautiful, the intelligent, just a woman out here doing amazing, incredible things, Dr. Sarah Renee Langley. And as is my way of doing things, I always kind of like to give my version of who the person is, and then let them share who they are, and then go into the question. So, actually, Sarah was at one point. We were actually in line to be part of a mastermind together. There were a lot of things going on. We never were able to make that connection, but there was a reason, and that was because I just saw an amazing person who was doing amazing things out there and who has so much to offer. And that was maybe a couple of years ago. So even from that point, she's just continued to grow and expand and reach even more and more people with just how awesome she is. And I love her energy. I love how she's just an easygoing person. I can be playful with her. I can be serious with her, but at the depth of her core, she's just a very wise, very insightful, a very aware individual. So, having said that, I'll let her introduce herself and we'll go into the questions. Sarah?
Um, Thank you so much, James. I am so happy to be here, and never take it lightly when anyone trusts me to share and to impart to their audience. So just thank you for having me on. It is an honor and a pleasure to connect with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, for those who don't know you, who are you? What do you do?
Yep. Yep.
Let me
So
one.
So who am I? So one of many hats, right? But for the time, I am a leadership consultant and I am a success strategist and mindset mastery maven is what I call myself. But my biggest thing is all about being limitless. So I help women leaders to elevate into a limitless version of themselves so that then they can become limitless legends. They can be legendary in their own right so that now they are able to leave a legacy that they can be most proud of so that they can help up and coming lady leaders, as I call them, to really be successful, powerful, and happy without the guilt and apology. So yeah, I'm all into leadership development and mindset restructuring. And that's how I feel like women, especially women who are in leadership roles, they'll be able to be successful and happy on their own terms. They redefine success and happiness on their own terms. So be limitless is
I
what I do.
like it. I like it. I like it. I was reading that. And we're going to talk more about Limitless in a second. But I love all of that. One of the things about me is I'm a big biography reader. I always like to, whether it's the hero's journey or just anyone's journey in particular, I like to know how they got to where they are now. So you're out there doing amazing shit, and sometimes I use colorful language. You're out there doing amazing shit, but you didn't always start there. What was childhood like for you growing up?
Uh-huh. So growing up, I don't know if you can even tell, but I was a tomboy. I was
No.
not two. I know, right? See, raise
Right.
the eyebrows. I was such a tomboy. Listen, I have five brothers. Okay. I'm the only daughter. I did have a sister, but she passed away. So it's just me holding it down with
Yeah.
these five boys, my mommy and my dad.
Right.
So growing up, especially in the mean streets of North Philadelphia, North
Don't
Philly,
tell me about that.
represent, stand up. Yeah, it was a jungle out there. And
Yeah.
my parents were really more into, they were Christians, they wanted to make sure that they reared us in going on the straight and narrow path, especially being African American,
Yeah.
and having the challenges of trying to make it out there in the real world. And my whole thing was I didn't want to be a statistic. I didn't want to be where I didn't want to prove the
Right.
man right in
Right.
regards to,
Right.
oh, well, we're going to be on welfare. I'm going to have, be knocked up with different baby daddies and
Yeah.
all of that. Although people who pull on what is considered a weakness and they made it a strength, they still overcame being
Yeah.
resilient. So
True.
in my upbringing, I learned how to be resilient. I learned how to, from the teachings of my parents, my mom,
Yeah.
just to really believe in yourself and
Yeah.
know that you can do whatever the heck you want to do, and do it on your own terms. So I took that, ran with it, And
Yeah.
here we are today, I'm helping other people all over the world to really unapologetically and guiltlessly be limitless, to live, love, and lead powerfully and boldly without limits.
Yeah, that's incredible. Like thinking about you and being reminded that you grew up in Philly, where there were so many temptations to maybe go in a different direction, and then we find some children who have those types of parents when parents not looking, they can be free and kind of get into all kinds of things that they probably shouldn't have. So in getting that lesson early that you can be with whatever you wanted to be when you were very young, what did you aspire to be? What did you want to be when you grew
Great question. So I usually would joke on a good friend of mine. So shout out to Sharia Williams. She is an
up?
author, speaker. She's a coach as well. And so when we were in the 11th grade, I asked her, I said, "Hey, Sharia, what do you want to be? Who do you want to be? What do you want to be when you grow up?" She was like, "I want to be a psychologist." I said, "Well, because you're my good friend, I'm going to be a psychologist too." We go to college. She goes to one college, I go to another.
Yeah.
And because of some boy she met in college, she now went to be a chemist or something like that. And I said, "You know what? You broke the pact. I'm sticking to psychology."
Yeah. Yeah.
Although she found her path and she's doing some type of counseling now as we speak.
Right.
But the point is, I mean, it's in terms of her counseling people. But that also, jokes aside, I've been into psychology since I was 14. Like I
Really?
had a job since I was 14. So I was a camp counselor. And I wasn't that person who worked in retail or worked at, a fast food restaurant. I actually stayed on that path of psychology because I felt that I wanted to understand what made people think the way that they thought.
Yeah.
And also, I had so many people who would come to me, young, old, at a
Hmm.
young age with their problems. And they always felt comfortable with me to whatever secrets that they had. They felt that they could share with me without feeling judged or
Yeah.
feeling, ridiculed or shamed, or believing that their secret's going to get out there. So I felt like I'm onto something, didn't know what it was, but
Yeah.
it was just something that I wanted to help people. That's just how I'm built. I just love helping and serving people to the highest capacity ever, because my bottom line is,
Yeah.
again, being limitless, helping
Yeah.
people to take those limits off and just not even shoot for the stars, but just go to affinity, really live out their lives on their own terms.
That's incredible. And so fast forward, you go from early camp counselor, really kind of in the journey of listening to people and being a safe place for people, which is that says a lot right there. To now helping women, which isn't too far away from that, but now helping women. How did you get to the place where you are now specifically working with women and helping them build up their lives?
Sure. So what's so awesome is, um, so Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable, right, with the Cosby
Yeah,
Show. So he
yeah,
had his practice in his basement. What was his name? Jason Severs from
yeah,
Growing Pains. Now I'm
yeah,
dating myself, but
yeah.
he had his practice in his basement.
Right.
And I was like, while I was watching those shows, I was like, wow, that'd be cool to have like a business or a practice in your basement. So
Yeah.
I ended up getting my first home in Cecil County, Maryland, and
Right.
I ended up having my practice in my basement. And when I was counseling people, until I outgrew my home and then had to start going to and renting out spaces in different places, um,
Hmm.
the women, I was actually a marriage and family counselor,
Hmm.
and I wasn't married. So stick us out. I wasn't married, but they
Yeah.
didn't ask me if I was married. Most of them, majority didn't ask if I was married, because my
Yeah.
interest in helping them on how to be married. It was more about how to stay connected, how to really be in a relationship, how to be one. So as a husband, as a wife, as just being together. But from there, the women that would come to me. So at times when I would see the couples, I would see them individually. So listening
Hmm.
to the women, I was listening to them and how they felt like something was missing in their world. Like they were
Hmm.
like, you know what, there's more to life than this, but they didn't know who they were. Their
Yeah.
identity was wrapped around being a mother, being a wife, being a career woman, but they didn't know who they were as Anna. They didn't know themselves as Kelly. They didn't know
Yeah.
themselves. And
Yeah.
so I said, you know what, maybe this is something that I'm to do and help these women to really find out who they really are and to
Right.
embrace themselves unapologetically so that they can have their identity and be who they are and still
Yeah.
take care of their responsibilities and it be okay.
Be
okay.
okay. Be
It be
okay.
okay for them. So that's how
Yeah.
it branched out for me, working with women in leadership and helping them to find their dreams.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So let's talk about the leadership lifestyle consultant hat that you wear. What led you? I think we probably already kind of touched on this a little bit, but how did you know that was your purpose?
Hmm, great question. For me, it's always based on a few things. One, when you have peace, when you
Yeah.
have peace in something that is like, which goes to the second thing, certainty.
Yeah.
I was certain that my abilities and the third thing, so it was my peace that I gotten from it,
Right.
the certainty that it just felt like this was the right thing.
Yeah.
But then most importantly, ooh, I felt like I was going or being trained to be that limitless leader
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
That was the thing. When I started to see myself go through challenges, that it really wasn't about me succumbing to the challenges or the circumstances, but rather what are the life lessons that I can then teach someone else on how to get through as well. Because it's about mastery. I mentioned how I'm a mastery, mindset maven, right?
hmm
And so if I felt that it was a matter of me understanding and knowing and mastering certain skills, so
Yeah.
then it'll be easier for me to translate, but also to impart that to the next person, or to at least empower and inspire them that they too can also be a limitless leader. So when I had positions to be in leadership,
hmm
whether I, with my own private practice, so as a counselor or a licensed clinical psychotherapist, I was in a position and authority of mentorship, um, mentoring up and coming licensed, or we call them supervisees or counselees, those who are
Right.
license eligible to get their license. Um, it was just a matter of, I love doing that. I love mentorship. I love imparting. I love just guiding and supporting people. So I saw that I had those leadership qualities, but I wasn't trusting those leadership
Right.
qualities. I really didn't see me, honestly, James, I
Yeah.
really didn't even see me being as an entrepreneur. I didn't see myself being, honestly, as a leader. It
hmm
was just always spoken over me
Yeah.
to lead or to be an entrepreneur. I was fine and safe,
Yeah. Safe.
just
Safe.
being in the
Safe.
background,
Yeah.
supporting and empowering others. But it seems like for the life of me, I was always in positions where I had to lead. I had to make the hardest decisions. Everyone was depending on me. That pretty
Right.
much been my upbringing pretty much all my life anyway.
Right.
So I just took it as, okay, this is something I'm supposed to do. And quite honestly, it's not a joke, it is true.
Yeah.
When it was time for me to step up and step out and do my own thing anyway, with
Yeah.
my private practice, the
Yeah.
reason why it happened, because I kept getting fired. Full transparency, I
Yeah.
kept getting
No, I've been
fired
there. I've
because
been there.
me and the daggone supervisor, we just didn't get along. So
Right.
I was like, the nerve of them, they don't have no right to fire me because I'm calling them out. I had no problem calling
Right.
people out. And I was like, I dare them to go ahead and fire me because I'm calling them out. And sure enough, one of them had the balls to fire me. And I got
Right.
fired too many times, got laid off too many times. I was like, all right, God, it's a sign. I'm going to go and step out. So
Right.
all of that, it was time for me to be a leader.
And I was going. And it's funny because I was going to ask. That was going to be my next question. Like, I believe in being limitless as well. I may not call it that, but my thing is from the standpoint of nothing and nothing can hold me back from being and getting what I want. But the journey for you is you're a woman and you're a black woman. So there are these things in society that we got to push through them, but they're there.
Yes.
So I was going to ask you about the pushback that what pushback you might have gotten being a black woman, um, where what she thinks she knows. Like even though you got the history going back to when you were 14 and maybe even earlier than that, just about how you navigated that, how that played out itself, in you getting to where you are now.
Ooh, that's an excellent question. You really trying to have me to pull from the daggone
Yeah, I'm working with you
right?
today. I'm working with you today.
Love it. So 3 instances I can remember. So typically, because either I was already ready
Mhm.
as a licensed clinical psychotherapist, or I was advanced, or, I had the skill set, I really stuck out, and I was always a go-getter. I was always determined. That was just who I've been all of my
Yeah.
life. So
Yeah.
it actually afforded me to get director roles or to get supervisory roles. And
Sure.
so I remember being young. One of my earliest jobs was a service coordinator in
Mhm.
Philadelphia, right?
Mhm.
And I remember all of the people at the place were older than me. And
Mhm.
me and two other young people, we all just got out of college, or we were in college at the time. And so we were given these supervisory roles. And so we felt the heat. I'll speak for me. I felt the heat
Mhm.
from the older people.
Sure.
I wanted to
Sure.
listen to me, and who did I think I am? And the times, oh my gosh, James, you really asking me some daggone good questions. I'm gonna tell it too. I have no problem being transparent here.
I love
Um,
it.
my supervisor at the time, he was the most challenging person.
Yeah.
And I remember the time that he would call me, who did I think I was? And I think that I'm an elitist, and I think I'm better than everybody. And that used to hurt. And
Sure.
because I'm like, wow, I was like, why are they misunderstanding me? Why are they misreading me? All I want to do is just do my job and actually, stand and be political. Political, what I mean, what I say that is,
Yeah.
there were times that I was really big on the trainings I would do at this particular job. I had to do retention type of trainings, and
Mhm.
helping, like with the morale of the company, how to help the
Okay.
employees feel better at the job, and,
Sure.
report back to the supervisor. So I would assess and see and ask questions and find out how can we make the morale better in the workplace. And I remember doing the trainings and finding out and trying to implement those things, and even
Mhm.
standing up and talking to the director of the company, and
Mhm.
because I would hear the complaints all the time from those adults, right? And I don't
Yeah.
know if it was a matter of me trying to make them feel better, or, have them to see that I really am for them, and I'm
Right.
not them, the higher ups, I'm with you guys. And I
Yeah.
remember one time I went to the director's office, and, because the people were complaining, and I was like, okay, we're going to go down there, we're going to talk and let them know, right? I went into that director's office and I was like, look, these are the grievances. This is how the people feel. And, we demand this, right, everybody? Right. I said, right, everybody? Where are they? It was just crickets behind me. I was like, oh my God, they left me high and dry hanging. Thank God I was so able to keep that job.
Right. Right.
Yeah, my mouth, well, my mom would say my mouth. She knew my mouth. And
Right.
I went back and I'm like, wait a minute, what happened? I thought we all were going in there and
Right.
demand things. And
Right.
they just kind of backed up. But then the next day they started complaining all over again. I said, you know what? I know what y'all doing. Y'all trying to make me be y'all mouthpiece. Y'all keep complaining. Y'all know that I'm going to go there when I say something on your behalf, but you're not
Yeah.
trying to just defend and speak up for yourself.
Yeah.
But I was big on advocating for, I used to have a challenge with unfairness and a challenge with injustice. So
Mm.
never had a problem with speaking up, crying loud and sparing not. And but it was a challenge in regards to being younger, being a Black
That's
woman.
real. Sure. You
Now,
speak a lot about the importance of being limitless, limitless, limitless. Like we're at the point now where we look in the dictionary, that's gonna be your face, and they're like, "Hi, right under limitless." Why do you think people are not reaching their fullest potential?
Hmm, excellent question. You are amazing, James. I love these
Thank
questions.
you. Thank
You know what you know, and you
you.
don't
Hmm.
know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So if all you know, so I teach this often to my clients, that
Hmm.
when all you know is what you know, you're going to default to that, until one of my favorite words is
Hmm.
when you decide that,
Yeah.
what, there's more to life than this. There must be a better way. There's more to me than meets the eye. When you start to decide and start thinking differently, it
Yeah.
opens the door for something called choice. So I help my clients to now find out with my lead method.
Hmm.
And it stands, I'm an acronym gal. So everything is always an acronym. So LEAD. So I
Hmm.
help them to look at what are the barriers, what keeps them stuck, what keeps them limited, Why do they decide and choose to be limited? Because it is a choice. A lot of times we have this mindset to think that, oh, we have no choice. We have no control. The man keep doing things to us. It's like the same narratives, but there's too many examples that prove it to be false or otherwise. So I'm like, since there are too many options and too many examples to show otherwise, that means that you too can be limitless. So I help them to look at what are the barriers, what are those self-sabotaging type of patterns and mindset that you have that keeps you repeating this narrative. Then we shift to the E, which is evaluate. A lot of times, James, we are always talking about daggone weaknesses, and we always talking about, and when I say daggone, so you have colorful words, I secondhand cuss myself. So daggone, so you can replace it with whatever colorful word you want to use. Daggone. Instead of we looking at the daggone weaknesses, why don't we look at your strengths? Why don't we look at the positivity, the positive things about you that will actually motivate you and give you the momentum to even try or to hope or to have optimism that, you know what, dang, I can do this. There is something I can do about my situation. So I start to help them to evaluate their strengths. What things are you winning in, or you have won in, that you're proud of yourself. So then now they can hold that type of way, again, choice now. They can stop looking at what they're defaulting to or what they know to start shifting over to, what's possible. So then we get to the A, which is action. But let me back up. We always talking about action. We always say, oh, take massive action, take massive action. I'd rather for people to take sustained action. I am big. I am big on, it's one thing to start something. We all can start a job.
We all can start a
business. Everybody can start something, but it's about finishing that thing. It's about being able to sustain it. So it's like sustained action. So I'd rather help the person to activate.
That's good.
Because we're great at being able to create things, but then did we activate those strengths? Now we identified the strengths. We identified the barriers. We realized that they don't have to exist. We're looking at your strengths. Now we have to activate those strengths, because you can be aware of it all day long, all you want to, but it's another thing to actually take action and activate your strengths to then do the D of lead, which is to do. Now we're doing all the darn thing. We're talking about it. We created, we implemented. Now are we actually taking that action? Are we doing what we said we're going to do? Are we committed to that thing so that we no longer stay limited, but now we are truly limitless? I feel like, James, and all who's watching, we don't do this world enough justice or a service. We really do this world a disservice when we stay small, when we stay stuck, when we stay limited. We all are born with potential. We all are born with provision. We are all born with these dreams and ideas and goals. And along the way, we've been programmed, we've been brainwashed, we've been conditioned to inevitably be limited, to be small. And if I'm able to help the person, so one of my mantras that I profess daily is that I'm a leader for leaders worldwide and a champion and mentor for women leaders everywhere, by which I come into your life and help you, I meet you and help you to be better than I met you and to leave you better than I found you. So my whole goal is to set the captives free. That is really the crux of my being, is to help set the captives free and help them to be limitless. And if I can do that by helping them to evolve, to discover who they are. But before that, we got to work on your mindset. We got to help you to now find that inner strength and your gifts and your dreams and your goals again. We have to reintroduce you to yourself, your real limitless self. Then I can help them to evolve, to elevate, to now rise to the occasion, and then to help them to expand. And that last part of the expansion is the expanded vision. Now, I mentioned earlier about legacy. So I help these women leaders or whoever comes into my path, helping them to really have a legacy that they can be proud of, because that's what it's about now. It's not about us here today. It's about what are we doing that we're leaving an indelible mark for other limitless leaders to follow after, so that they now can be inspired to be greater than what they were about to sell themselves short for. We had stuff going on in our generation, but now
Right.
let's make it better and easier for the next generation to do their thing.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Now you've published numerous books on motivation, women empowerment, um, leadership, work-life balance. I want to talk about motivation and work-life balance. What motivates
Excellent question. And you surely have done your homework. Go
you?
ahead,
I'm
James.
telling you,
Go ahead,
I don't
James.
play. I don't play with this.
I feel so special.
You are. You
I
should.
don't know. Have you noticed that we're matching? I
Here
said,
we are.
what? I think James' colors are red, black, or something to that effect. And full disclosure, y'all, I had on orange, but
Right.
I said, what? I'm going to make James proud. And you in the audience, I said, what? If y'all colors, I gotta rock with y'all. I gotta put on the red.
Yeah, absolutely. I love you for it. This is what I really love about it. I love it. I love, like, online. You got all these amazing pictures. I got a two wardrobe change. I saw you in orange and red, so I'm really feeling I'm winning. So you're all over the world, different countries, traveling. What do you do for balance? Like, what? And also, you've been a caregiver. So
Yeah.
what do you do for you? What do you do to get that balance?
I love traveling.
Okay.
So even with me traveling all over the world. So another thing that you may not know about me,
Okay.
when I was a little girl, I wanted to be a missionary. I wanted to do missions work.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, I wanted to be a missionary, and I wanted to travel all over the world and save lives and profess the good news of Jesus Christ. And I
Hmm.
just really wanted to help lives in that capacity.
Yeah.
So it's ever a wonder, right? That I
Yeah.
do travel, I do
Yeah.
speak,
Yeah. Just
right?
fit.
I do empower, right? Good.
Yeah. That
So
just fit.
so what I do is I look forward to traveling. I mean, I can get in my car right now. So I have a couple of cars, and one of my favorite cars. I love my 6-speed, my six
Yeah.
shift,
Yeah.
which I didn't even know how to drive it. I bought it. I didn't know how to drive it. Okay, I was gonna learn it, and I
Right.
learned it by going to New York. I said, I'm that type of person that, again, I throw my own self out there to the sharks,
Yeah.
right? And I better learn how
Yeah.
to swim and learn how to save my life fast. I got in
That's
that
it.
ship, and I drove to New York. Come on one of those bridges, and I'm getting hunked at because, like, the car kept
Yeah.
stopping because I didn't know how to shift it. I'm going
And then
crazy.
just driving in New York, period.
Yes,
Like,
I didn't
you
know how to
really
drive to New York.
upgrading.
That was my first drive to going to with my daggone stick shift. But I
Yeah.
know how to drive that thing now and put
I
makeup
bet you
on and
do.
use my elbow while I'm putting makeup on. But I love to travel,
Okay.
and for self-care. Anytime I can get away, even if I can't travel like that, just to get in the car and just
Yeah.
coast, or just
So I want to get, um, I want to say serious, but it's more of a solemn thing. I remember you lost your mother last year, and her legacy clearly continues with you. Um, and I know that's the impact that she's had. All you got to do is just pull up anything on you, and you see the impact that she has had on you. What lessons did she pass down to you that has inspired you to reach the level of success that you have?
so. My mom is Mary Nell Nelson Langley, and the lessons that I've learned from her are the following. She always wanted me to, she said, look, you can be and do whatever you want to do. Don't let anybody tell you different. My mom was she was a shy person, and she was very
Mhm,
quiet.
mhm.
She had such a meekness about her. She had such a gentle, beautiful spirit about her.
Yeah.
And she was into fashion.
Okay.
So her
Is that where you
elegant
got it from?
she was very elegant, very graceful. She was a model for Sears at the time. So she worked in the department store, but she also had modeled, different clothing for Sears. So
Yeah.
and again, this tomboy, and I'm being the only girl, outside of my older sister. It's like, so she had me, and I was at the time refusing it. Like, I was the one that wanted She painted my room pink. I wanted it blue. I painted blue. It's like I was a boy, a tomboy.
Right, right.
But apparently she left an indelible mark on me because
Yeah,
I do love
clearly.
fashion. I do like, looking
Yeah,
nice, looking all
yeah,
girly.
yeah.
But I think for her, she has instilled in me drive,
Mhm.
motivation, determination,
Yeah,
belief in myself,
yeah.
and such the beauty and grace and style that she leaves behind in my heart. As a matter of fact, so on my desk, I have my dear friend from junior high school. So shout out to you, Renee Taylor,
Mhm,
um,
mhm.
her soon to be Edwards. But she had made this for me. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh,
So
that's
she
nice. I
made
like that. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's so nice, Sarah. That's incredible. I like that.
it. And she had put together, she did her homework. She didn't, I mean, she didn't ask me anything. She just noticed the things that I posted on Facebook. So, she did that. My mom's colors were pink and yellow and red. And so she made the bracelet for
Wow.
me, picture of, she got the picture off of Facebook. She didn't even ask me. She just put it
Yeah,
together and surprised me. This was like a month after my mom had transitioned.
yeah,
So it's like, I carry this everywhere. So when I
yeah,
travel, I take my mom with me and, just to have her spirit to
yeah.
help me most of all, and most importantly, to again believe in myself, but just to remember who I am.
Right, right.
That's what she left behind to
That
me.
is that like that touches me here. That is even what your friend did. That's just ah, that's good stuff. That's
Yeah.
good stuff. Um, so we got about 13 more minutes. So I wanna ask some questions that I think everyone would want to know. Um, with where you are now, this again traveling the world, just amazing, incredible person and touching lives and changing lives. Remembering that first moment when you first walked through the door of entrepreneurship,
Mm.
business owner, what would you today, what lessons would you share with that earlier version of you who's just walking through that door?
As I tell my clients to date, to give yourself the courtesy and the grace and the honor, my gosh,
Mm,
to learn. It's like you don't have to come in having to know everything.
yeah,
Just take your time and learn the life lessons. Another thing y'all don't know about me, I used to run track.
I
So
can
I
see that.
run.
I can see that.
And so I was a sprinter. I was not a cross country person.
Right, right.
I was not. But I have learned now that this is not a sprint. This is a cross country journey.
Yeah,
So appreciate, love on this process and your journey because it is to help you to cultivate, to
mhm,
grow, to evolve, to elevate, to expand, to be limitless.
yeah,
So those are the main points are take your time, baby.
yeah.
This is no race, no sprint.
No sprint.
Enjoy the process, enjoy and and the most important thing, be present. Be present in the moment
Right.
because oftentimes we are either in the past or
Yeah,
we're in the future,
yeah,
but we're not here right now in the
yeah,
present,
yeah.
just enjoying and appreciating and learning and evolving as you go along.
As you
So
go
those are
along.
the things that I would definitely tell myself if I were to do this all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the things I would say.
And now I'm thinking when we're younger, that would have been the thing that we'd have been competing in. Because I was also a 100 and 4 by 100 sprinter. So I'd be
Okay.
like, all right, come on, let's race it. Let's race.
I want to be you too. So
There you go.
I'm hearing a challenge. I'm hearing a challenge
Yeah,
going.
we'll see. We'll see each other. Trust me. Um, so and those are important lessons for all of us as entrepreneurs, those who are watching this who are young entrepreneurs, young business owners. Um, when did you make that decision in the first place though? And I say that because there are people watching this, they're sitting on great ideas. There are people who are watching this that they're really passionate about something. Maybe some of them are giving money toward a cause. Maybe some of them are working for someone as someone who has that vision. What made you go, I want to make this instead of, I know we talked about corporate America, we talked about the workforce at one point, but what made you make the decision that I'm going to make this my own?
I kept getting fired. um, so no, that played part.
Is that real? Okay.
And opened the door for me to realize that, you know what, okay, God, this must be a sign. I must need to do this for myself.
Yeah.
Um, having been in counseling and mental health,
Mm-hmm.
and me and my counseling peers all over the world, we all have complained about the reimbursement rates, how we were taught in school to not be an entrepreneur, but to work for someone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it was an absolute learning curve. I'm like, well, and then at the time, I didn't think that I was born to be an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurship is beyond what we think it is. To me, it is a calling.
Yeah.
It is a purpose. And we need to absolutely meet that purpose and meet the calling. So I was like, wow. At the time I was hustling. I was like, okay, I gotta live. I gotta make the money. I gotta make the ends. I gotta, put food on the table. For me, at the time, it was just me. But then right immediately after, I was becoming a caregiver. So I was like, I really gotta hustle. So what had me to go ahead and make my own was, like I said, I just needed to work at the time. I'm like, I need to take care of myself. And honestly, I always felt like I had something to prove. Like, meaning like in my upbringing, so where I can be hard and challenging, that's what I got, in my upbringing. Again, I had my dad and 5 brothers.
Yeah.
Always competitive. I had.
Right.
Exactly. I had that masculine energy. I was more into my masculine energy than I was in my feminine energy. So it was like, okay, I have to stand. I got to do this. I have to do that. So I wasn't trying to go back home. I was not going to go back home and have my brothers punk me. And, my dad say, see, I knew you were going to come back. I knew you were going to need this. No, I don't. I made sure if I had to be out in the street in a cardboard box, I was going to do that. I was not going back home to Philly. That was done. So, and that's what I did. I kept that mindset in view, or that vision in view of, I have to do this no matter what, because I was not trying to go back home and hear their mouth.
I know that's right. That is, believe it or not, that is a consistent theme I hear with those who have reached that level of success, that they get to a point where I was talking to someone yesterday and he was like, my life, I looked at it like my life depended on it.
Yeah.
And I think when you have that approach where there's no plan B, I'm eliminating all other options, God meets you there. God meets you at that place. And even and that I'm gonna use that to segue into this, because you've alluded to this several times throughout this conversation. But what's your spiritual practice? That's something that you do on a daily basis or a consistent basis?
Pray. So a few things. Prayer absolutely changes things, but prayer changes us. The reason why I go to bed at 7 p.m. is because I get up at 3 a.m. And I have my whole elaborate, absolute amazing process that takes about 4 hours. So the first thing I do, so from 3 to 4, I'm in prayer. I'm worshiping the Lord. I am praying for the country, the president, my peers, my colleagues, my clients, my friends, my family, my loved ones, my brothers, my dad, relatives. I'm just praying and praising God during that time. Then for 4 to 5, I'm writing. So I love to journal. So that's another thing to do. Another fun. I love journaling. As a matter of fact, I have a little bump on my finger on I'm lefty. That's another thing about me. I don't know if people know about. I am a southpaw. So I'm a lefty. My dad, because back in the day, if you were left-handed, they thought that was evil. So my dad kind of had me to write with my right hand. So he gave me a pen and put it in my hand, whatever, and I'll look at it and put it right in my left hand. I'm a lefty, okay? So got a little bump on my finger that proves that I am a writer. So I would write to no end. I've been writing since I was 11, like just having all these journals all of my life. And so I would journal. It's very therapeutic. You get things off your mind, off your chest. You're clearing all that energy and just kind of motivating and pumping yourself up and leaving it there on paper. So journal from 4 to 5. 5 to 6, I would just start to visualize. So I do visualizations. What that is that I start to envision where I want to be, how I want my day to go, who I want to meet, where I have certain goals that I want to work on for 2022. So
Right.
I would put up these pictures and just start to envision me
Yeah.
being there and doing this and meeting this person. So I do a lot of visualizations during that time. And then the
Okay.
last hour from 6 to 7, I'm doing affirmations. So
Yeah.
I'll go on YouTube University and I find my YouTube mentors and I
Yeah.
start to do the affirmations that talks about who I am. As a matter of fact, on my desk, this is going to probably look backwards, I'm not sure.
Oh,
But
nice.
I have
Nice.
this that, this talks about I am, who I
Yeah.
am. And I
Yeah.
speak that over myself. I am wise. I am confident. I am calm. I am
Yeah.
motivated. I am courageous. I am abundant. I am anything after I am.
Yeah.
It is.
Sure.
So you speak
I'm the
that
manifest
thing,
coach. I get it. Yeah.
yeah, you are the manifest coach, right? So
I
I
get it.
speak those things over my life so that they do become and evolve when it is the time for it to happen. So
Right.
that's my process. And then I go to the gym after that.
Then
So
then we share, we have I'm talking to you. We have a lot in common, even some things I didn't even bring up. And that's kind of my morning process as well. Mine begins at 4, which makes sense because I go to bed at 8 and at
Mhm.
7. So I get up at 4. But I want to, in this 4 minutes that we have, I want to ask you 4 questions. I always ask everyone these 4 questions. And I want you to give me a short, concise, not because of time, but I just tell us to everyone, give me a short, concise answer to these 4 questions. Let me know when you're ready.
Ready.
Okay. So, and I call you Sarah because I feel like I know you, but just for everyone, I'll say Dr. Sarah. So, Dr. Sarah, what's the most important thing in life?
First, so I do something called free association. That's me, the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
Love.
I love
Love.
it. I love it. I love it. Who is God?
Whew. The great I am.
Great I am.
That's not going to be concise. So I'll just leave it there because I can say all kinds. God is I am.
I get it. I get it. If anybody, because there may not be anybody, but if anybody, who do you need to forgive?
Myself.
Myself. And the last question is, what does the world need more of?
The first thought that came to mind again was love.
Yeah. And I agree with you, and that's a great answer. For those who are watching and seeing maybe themselves in your story, or may look at you and what you do as someone that they want to work with, how can people find you?
They can definitely go to my website, which is Dr. Sarah Renee Langley.com. There you'll see that I have my Lead Limitlessly VIP subscriber list. So you can actually go on there, fill it out. You'll get a free gift immediately. And that's how you'll be able to stay in contact with me.
Oh, wow. I mean, I got your number, but I might just get the free gift myself.
Go ahead. It's free.
No, it's all good. And it's worth just knowing Dr. Sarah as I do. It's more than worth it. Your whole life will up level. And again, this is for the women, and most of the people that do follow me are women, but I could not place you in better hands than this amazing woman beside me. So having said that, Sarah, I want you to hold on, but I'm just going to close out and just thank everyone for tuning in. Again, I hope to see you and look forward to